Hi everyone, in this video we are going to solve a problem that was asked in JEE Main January 28th of this year 2025, and the question is from the chapter Circle in Coordinate Geometry. The question is in front of you. It says, let this one equation represent a circle which touches the x-axis at point a, 0, a is greater than 0, that means a is a positive number, and cuts off an intercept of length b on the y-axis. If the circle lies below x-axis, then ordered pair 2 times a, b squared is equal to which of the options? Before we get started with the solution, let's take a look at the key concepts that we are going to use in the solution. The first concept is like this: if the general equation of a circle is given, we can easily determine the coordinates of its center and also the radius of the circle. The second concept that we are going to use is that the perpendicular bisector of a chord passes through the center. The third concept we are going to use is, if a circle touches the x-axis, the x-coordinate of the center is equal to the x-coordinate of the point of contact on the x-axis. And the fourth concept is the distance formula. It says that if there are 2 points whose coordinates are given, then we can easily find out the distance between the 2 points using this formula. I have already created separate videos on these topics in my channel. Feel free to watch them. Now, with the review of these key concepts, perhaps you already have enough clues as to how to solve the problem. So feel free to pause the video and give it a try yourself. And after that, of course, you want to check my solution. So let's get started. First, I'm going to draw the coordinate plane and the circle. Let's suppose the circle is like this. It touches the x-axis and it cuts an intercept on the y-axis. It lies below the x-axis. Let's suppose the point of contact on the x-axis is a, whose coordinates obviously would be a, 0. And let's suppose the circle cuts the y-axis at the points p and q. And let's assume the center of the circle is located at point C. The given equation of the circle is like this. And if we compare that with the general equation of a circle, we can easily find out the values of -g and -f, which will represent the coordinates of the center. In this case, -g turns out to be half of alpha and -f turns out to be -half of beta. So I have noted the coordinates of the point C, which is the center of the circle. Now the x-coordinate of the point of contact and the x-coordinate of the circle's center would be equal because the circle touches the x-axis. That means a will be equal to half of alpha, which is the x-coordinate of the center of the circle. And from there we can easily find out the value of 2 times a, that is equal to alpha. Next we have to somehow find out the value of b. Now what is b? Well, b is the length of the intercept that the circle cuts on the y-axis. That means b is the length of PQ. Now let me join the points A and C. That will represent the radius of the circle, and the absolute distance between AC can be denoted as the radius of the circle, which we can write it as half of beta. Even though the y-coordinate of the center has been denoted as -half of beta, but we are talking about just the radius. The absolute distance between A and C, that is actually +half of beta. The radius has to be a positive quantity. So I have noted that r is equal to half of beta. Now let's also quickly find out what is the radius of this circle. The radius of the circle can be noted like this in terms of alpha, beta and gamma. And of course PQ is equal to b, that's given in the question. And if we draw a perpendicular from the center onto that y-intercept, let's suppose that it lands at point R on that chord, PQ as the chord, so that R will be the midpoint of PQ, because we know that the perpendicular bisector of a chord always passes through the center. So in this case I have drawn a perpendicular from center onto the chord, so it would bisect the chord. That means PR will be equal to PQ, and that will be equal to half of b. So PR will be equal to RQ, and each of them will be equal to half of b, because PQ is equal to b. So PR will be equal to RQ, which will be equal to half of b. So what would be the coordinates of P? Well, P's coordinates can be written like this. Its x-coordinate would obviously be 0 because P lies on the y-axis, and its y-coordinate will be whatever is the length of OR plus RP. That algebraic sum will give us the y-coordinate of P. Next, I am going to join C and P. That would represent a radius of the circle, and from there we can say PC squared will be equal to R squared. So now we have the coordinates of 2 points, I mean point P and point C. We have their coordinates, and also we know that PC represents the radius of the circle. So from there we can say PC squared is equal to R squared, and then we are going to use the distance formula for PC squared. The distance formula can be written like this, and also we know the value of r in terms of alpha, beta and gamma, and if we square that, that will give us the r squared, and that can be written like this. And then we are going to simplify the equation a little bit. The simplified version could look like this. And as you can see, alpha squared over 4 is present on both sides of the equation, so they will cancel out each other. And then we are going to be left with something like this. And from here, we have to find out the value of b squared in terms of beta and gamma. So b squared can be written as beta squared minus 4 times gamma. So we have been able to find the value of b squared. And also we already calculated the value of 2 times a. I have denoted both of them in the red box. So what do we have to calculate as per the question? Well, according to the question, we have to find out the ordered pair 2 times a comma b squared. We already know the value of 2 times a, and also we have been able to calculate the value of b squared. So that ordered pair would be equal to alpha comma beta squared minus 4 times gamma. So let's take a look at the answer choices. Wherever we have alpha comma beta squared minus 4 times gamma, that would be the correct answer. And in this case, looks like option D would be the correct answer. I hope the solution steps made sense. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.